chart. Yeah, morning Jaden. Right. Right. I have two comments on that. I didn't realize that. Did I? Oh. Yeah. Right. Okay, cool. What is it? This. Okay, right. So yeah, we're just giving people a few minutes to reach. Yeah, because I mean, if we start, like an hour, 1.5, we'll get done, So, but you could go ahead and, I sent a PDF of the paper in the WhatsApp chat, so you can pull it from there and start stuff. Hey, morning, Pretab, how you doing? Michael Salani, morning, how are you? Good to have you guys on today. Right, now let us mark that J Don is here. Alright, cool. Riri, morning, how you doing? That's a nickname from a niece, so nice name. Alright, so today is the morning Riri, how you doing? Yeah, May 2024 paper 1 that we're doing. Like I said, we're giving some people some time to get in. Look, Nyla. Alright, hey, morning, Nyla, how you doing?
Morning, I'm good. How are you?
Good to have you. I'm fine, thanks for asking. What was? No, hold on. Just now. Right. So this is going to Marcus. Right. And right. And that. Oh, thanks for the likes, guys. All right. Talia done start already. All right. Yeah. All right. So Jaden and Nyla. So I sent a PDF of the multiple choice paper in the chat, so you could always pull it up from there, or we could just again tackle it as we go along. One second. It'll be on the other side there. And of course it's no one. No one. Alright. So Kenny, morning. Alyssa, 2024, May 2024, paper 1. Oh no. May 2024. Happy Uno. Right. Happy, I'm in French, yes? Alright, there we go here. Pins a comment. No, it was only pin for like 60 seconds. More one comment. Anyhow, alright. Okay, so folks, yeah, it's about 10:06 now. So I think I want to start, and I think we'll go the efficient route, as in we'll just do what's visible, right? So whatever's visible on the screen we will tackle, right? If you want me to scroll in or zoom in a bit more so it's more visible, you can let me know that too, alright? And make use of the things and we use them, yes? Alright, we've seen this question one on like every paper we've done, right? So far. Glad I'm going to catch it. HMM, yes. Zoom in? Alright, okay. Well then, if we zoom in, we're going to do it in order. Alright, so maybe that's the best thing, so that everyone can see very clearly. Okay, so, okay, hold on, just now. It's doing that thing already. Alright, you know what? I am going to waste time. I'm just going to, just now, let me just shift a cord to plug it in directly to the laptop. I have this hub thing, but I think some of the connectors, either the connecting pins or, hey Mr. Miru, morning, how you doing? Good to have you on. Yeah, the connecting pins or the port itself is kind of wonky, so yeah, we are going to waste time trying to figure out, so we'll give it a chance. Okay, so guys, let's just dive in. I think that might be the best thing to do. Alright, so minus 3 squared plus minus 2 squared. So as we always say, when we square something, what are we actually doing? Multiplying it by itself. And when you multiply a minus by a minus, you get a plus. So minus 3 by minus 3 is positive 9, and minus 2 by minus 2 is positive 4, and of course 9 plus 4 is going to be equal to 32. Yeah, I hear some other noises there, so I'm not sure. Hey Juju, morning, how you doing? Yeah, not sure what all those noises mean, but hopefully they don't distill or process. Alright, so minus 3 squared plus minus 2 squared is 13. Okay, what is the value of the digit 6 in the number 48.62? So now they've changed this, right? Normally it would be the digit 2, right? So as we know, so when you have the 48.621, right? So this is the ones, this is the tens, and then you have the tenths, then you have the hundredths, and then you have the thousands. Okay, that's annoying me. Hold on, just now. Give me 1 sec. Is it stopping? Okay, whatever. Right. So the 6 is in the tenths column, right? So it's 6 tenths. So we're just going to shade that one time. 6 tenths. All right. All right. Cool. Scrolling down now. What number when added to 1 and 1/3 gives 2? Okay, so we saw this I think on Friday as well. All right. So think about it. We have 1 and 1/3 plus something. Oh my gosh. I need to mute the damn thing. Is equal to 2. So what is that thing? So, I mean, the conventional way to do this is simply say, okay, look, if I want to solve, let's just call it x, right? The usual algebraic term. All I need to do is subtract 1 and 1/3 from both sides of the equation, right? So I have 2 minus 1 and 1/3, right? And again, you're not allowed to use the calculators, so you need to work this one manually, right? So again, you can put it as 2 over 1. We could convert 1 and 1/3 into an improper fraction, right? How would we do that? So we multiply the denominator 3 by the integer 1. 3 by 1 is 3, and you add the numerator of 1, so you have 4/3. And of course, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, we need a common denominator. So we're going to multiply these two together, and then cross multiply numerators and opposite denominators. So 2 by 3 is 6, 4 by 1 is 4, and 6 minus 4 is 2. Alright, so we have 2/3. Alright, okay, so I've seen some responses in the chat. They're very good, guys. Good job. Alright. Okay, cool. Alright, so I don't know if Jaden and Nyla want to do that too. So if you all want, you can put in number and put your letter choice. Alright. Okay. Yeah. So another way you could think of this. Let me just get a different color to write in. Alright. So not that you have to do it 2 different ways. You don't, right? So think about it. 1 plus 1/3. Right. Now 1/3 is a fraction. It's a piece of a whole. And we want to get to 2. Now obviously, right, so this is not equal to 2, right? But if we want to add something to 1 to get 2, we need to add what? We need to add 1. So the question is, okay, how do we increase 1/3 to get to 1? So to go from 1/3 to 1, you have to add 2 more thirds, right? Because remember, 1/3, right? A whole is 3/3, and if you only have 1, it means you're missing 2 of the thirds. Alright, so that's another way you can think about it. Right? So up to you again. Right, number 4, we saw number 4 I think a couple days ago, right? So the next term in the sequence. So this is the kind of stuff I like for multiple choice, all right? Although some people don't. So to go from 1 to 6, you have to add 5. To go from 6 to 13, you have to add 7. To go from 13 to 22, you have to add 9. To go from 22 to 33, you have to add 11. And then to go to the next number, well, we have to increase. So this here is the progression of odd numbers starting at 5. Alright, so 5, 7, 9, 11, and of course the next odd number is 13. Right, and of course to go from each odd number to the next, you simply add 2. Right, and 11 plus 2 is 13, and so 33 plus 13 is 46. Alright, so Jaden and I, just give me a quick G if you're good with the first 4, please and thanks. If you need me to rework any of them, many of them, or all of them, give me an R, and give me the number or numbers. Alright, cool. Alright, Jaden is with us? Alright, there you go, lovely. Okay, let's go. Oh, sorry, I did something else. Yeah. Alright, what is the least number of apples that can be shared equally among either 6, 10, or 15 kids? Okay, so we're looking here for the lowest common multiple. So 6, 10, or 15 kids. Right? Sorry, I see another question. So can we write on the paper, like the little calculation? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Right. So check it. There is a kind of mathematical way to do this. It has to do with the factors. But to me, the hack that I used to use was simply say, okay, look, you had to take the biggest number and do the times tables with that. Right? Now, the thing is, we have a little trick here. The 10, multiples of 10 only end in 0. Correct? So if we take 1 by 15, we're going to get 15. But 15 is neither in the times table. So it's not a multiple of 6, nor is it a multiple of 10. But if you take 2 by 15, you get 30. And 30 is a multiple of 6. And of course, once it ends in a 0, it is automatically a multiple of 10. Right? So the LCM here is 30. Alright? What was the other way to do it, boy? So So if you took each of the items here, 6, 10, and 15, so the factors here are 2 by 3, and you have 2 by 5, and then you have 2 by 3 by 5. Yeah, so no, sorry, not 2 by 3 by 5, that's 30, my bad. And you had 3 by 5, right? So it's like you had a 2, you had a 3, and you had a 5. So everything that was common you multiply those. I think that's it, I had to check. Anyhow, that's the answer, so let's go ahead. Number 6, a certain amount of money is shared among Jay, Troy, and Jordan in the ratio 2, 3, and 9. 2, 3, and 9 is not 14. Or if Troy received $14 more than Jay, then the amount of money shared is. Alright. This is like a kind of SEA question. Alright, so we know first protocol here, when you have a ratio in numbers like this, what do? We add the numbers together. 2 and 3 is 5, 5 and 9 is 14. And it means that each of these numbers is then placed over 14. And then you will multiply these fractions by the whole. And that's what we want. We want the whole. Now, so J is the, okay, hold on, let me see if I can shift this down a little bit so I can put the letters for the people's names, right? Okay, cool. Hello, thanks very much. Yep, there you go. Okay, so that's J, Troy, and Jordan. Okay, so if Troy received $40 more than J, so check it. Troy gets 3 14ths and J gets 2 14ths, right? So Troy gets 1 14th more than J, and that 1 14th is equivalent to $40. So what we have to do to find the whole is actually pretty simple. You'll simply, so the whole would be 14 14ths. So we just multiply 40 by 14, right? So yeah, I know the arithmetic and the calculations is what you guys probably also come to see me do. All right, because you can't use a calculator, so you have to use your long multiplication skills and that kind of stuff, right? Now, the conventional way I would do this is just, okay, look, so I put a 0, and I say, okay, well, 4 by 4 is 16, carry 1, 4 by 1 is 4, add the 1 is 5, right? Another way you could do 40 by 14 is you could break up numbers into their factors and multiply them more in easier things, right? So for example, 40, an easy way to do this is just 4 by 10, right? And then 14, an easy way is just 2 by 7, right? So if you think about it, you have to multiply all these numbers, and you can multiply them in any particular order you want, right? So do what comes easier. So for example, you can do 4 by 2. So you can say, okay, 4, right? So 4 by 2 is 8. And then you can do 8 by 10 is 80. And then do 80 by 7. Or, right, you can see, look, I know what 8 by 7 is, that's 56. And then 56 by 10 is 560. Alright? So you can break up numbers into their factors, and if you're multiplying two numbers together, you can multiply these factors in any sequence. That's easiest for you, right? You could even use distributive law, right? You could use all sorts of little tricks and tips here. Oops, hold on just now, sorry, give me one sec. No, right, just now, sorry. It does this thing, there was an update that happened, and it, yeah, okay. Here we go. So we have a sets question. So if the set P is 2, 3, 5, 7, the set Q is 2, 3, 6, and S is 2, 4, 5. What is P union Q union S? So yesterday I think it was P intersect Q intersect S, which means what element is common among all three sets. In that case it would have been 2, but here we have union. So what that means is it's simply going to be putting all of the elements in all the sets together. Right? And you're only going to express each element once. So you're not going to write 2 3 times, you're not going to write 3 2 times, 4 once, 5 twice, 6 and 7. You're just going to have a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. So that's option. Alright, cool. So let's zoom out here. I think that's the end of this page. Alright. I see Jaden. So Jaden said 6 was D. Very good. Okay, nice. Alright, so Jaden and I just give him a quick G if you're good with questions 5 to 7, please and thanks. Right, if you have any questions, you want to rework and let me know. Alright, lovely, thanks very much. Okay, cool. Next page one time. So we deep into our sets era here. Sorry. Alright. So this is a kind of, okay, so the shaded region represents okay, so to answer that question, it may be easy to ask, well, what is not shaded? Whoa, okay, that's a little too big. I forgot I zoomed in quite a bit. Alright, cool. Alright, so the yellow region that I have shaded is the actual unshaded region, right? Everything else is in stripes. So that yellow region is P intersect Q. Right? So the yellow region is P intersect Q. And everything outside of that is shaded. And everything outside of something is its complement. And that's option B. So P intersect Q is the yellow item, which is the quote-unquote unshaded item. And everything outside of that is shaded. And everything outside of a particular set is the complement of that set. And that complement is given by the little apostrophe. Alright? Okay. The elements of the set X is, so let's read from the middle. So this says X is greater than 6. So it says X is greater than 6. And, and X is also less than or equal to 10. Right? Now for X to be greater than 6, you can't start at 6. It's greater than 6. Right? So you're starting at 7. Right? And then going on 8, 9, 10, etc. But if X is less than or equal to 10, you can start from 10 and then go backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, etc. Right? So we can't go to 6 and we can't go past 10. So that right there is our solution set. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Item 10 refers to the following information. M is P, Q, R, N is P and Q. So the set N is actually totally encased here, which means that N is what you call a subset of M, right? N is a subset of M, and so it means that N is contained in M, right? Right, so M union N, right? So this, I always thought that this meant that M contains N, but I think it's this way, so N is contained in M. So yeah, I had that issue. I have to double check that to be honest, right? But this second statement is actually correct. If you unite M and N, so union, right? If you unite it, if you squash these two sets together, you're just gonna get an M. Alright, so that second statement is the correct one. Alright, Mrs. Awai. Thank you very much, Mrs. Awai. Alright, how can we get access to the answer? M's, when you say access, like the multiplication, the sheet I'm shading in, because the live will be up on YouTube after. Alright, so you can check it out there too. Hey Lumik, what's going on? I see when you jump in there, sorry. Munchkin, thanks for the follow. Right. Alright, lovely. That's number 10. Okay. Alright. So Jaden and I just came out with G for paper 8, 9, and 10. These and thanks. You're good? Alright. What is my name on you? Same name as this. Sit-ins you. Adaptuation. Yeah? Alright, cool. Lovely. Let's go back in. So all students in a class play Scrabble or checkers or both. So 36% of the students play Scrabble only, 48% play checkers only. What percentage play both games? Right. So check it. All. What percentage is all? All is 100%. So if we were to do a Venn diagram, right? So they say all these students they play Scrabble, they play checkers, or they play both, right? So 36% play Scrabble only, 48% play checkers only. What percentage play both games? Well, that'll be the difference, right? So the total percentage is 100. So we'll do 100% minus, and then we'll do 36 plus 48, which is 84%, right? And then that's just 16 to go in the middle, right? 16%, right? All right, Brandon, thanks very much for the kind words. All right, thanks for the follow listen. All right, Ayuka, morning, thanks for the share. All right, item 12 refers to the following Venn diagram, which shows the universal set U and two sets T and C that represent the students in a class who play tennis and chess. All right, as we can see, and we saw this yesterday because this question was on the paper yesterday, 2023 paper. The set of people who play chess is totally encased or contained in the set of people who play tennis. All right. Oh, okay, cool. Right. So what that means is that everybody, so Paul and Rima played both chess and tennis, right? But Ali, Alex, Kayla, and Tom only play tennis, but not chess. And Dora, Doug, and Charles play neither. So how many students play tennis but not chess? Well, that's 4. Ali, Alex, and Kayla, and Tom. So that's 4. 4, right. Okay, and that's the end of the page. Okay, cool. Hey, Eliana, thanks for sharing. Right, Nyla and Jane, I know I just asked you, let's give me a quick G again and we next page one time, right? Then we move. Might be able to finish early today. That'd be great. Alright, so we're going again. Oh, we've seen number 13 every paper so far. A dress which costs $180 is being sold at a discount of 10%. The amount of the discount is, right? So you're going to find 10% of $180. So you knock off a 0, and 18 is your answer. That's option C. Right, well, yeah, this is 2024 May DD. Right, now this, by the way, guys, if anybody sees me make a mistake, like a calculation error, or I shade the wrong letter, let me know, eh? I don't get vexed, I don't beat about that. So there's no ego in this, right? I'd rather be right than sorry, I'd rather y'all have the right answer than me feel like right, if I'm wrong. Okay, EC $2.50 is equivalent to $1 US. Then EC25 is, well, 10, right? Check it. If 250 is $1, right? Now $25 is 10 times that, right? So if I take 250 and I multiply by 10, I'll get the 25, right? And the 250 EC was equivalent to US $1. So I want 10 times that as well. So that's just equal to $10. Alright, hey Jamie, good morning, how you doing? For every sale amounting to $1, a salesman is paid 10 cents as commission. So that's a 10% commission, right? Because 10% of $1 is 10 cents. For every sale amounting to $1, find that phrase and strip it, right? Out of every dollar, a salesman is paid 10% commission. Every dollar of sales, right? Okay, cool. Alright. Yeah, morning, Jimmy, right? If his sales for a particular month was 1,020, how much commission was paid? Well, 10% of that. Which you saw, he just knocked off a 0, right? So I'll just show, whoops. Yeah, that arrow thingy. Let's see it. Hey, Tia Marie, thanks for following. Appreciate it, right? So if we find 10% of the same 1,020, knock off a 0, knock off a 0 again, and you have 1, 2. So that's the commission that we earn. Right. Hey Jordan, how you doing? Oh, thanks for the rose, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Right, hey Elia. Hey Chris, I'm on my name way. Right. I think we saw this one yesterday too. Hold on. Okay, a man's basic wage for a 40-hour work week is $160. He is paid overtime at a rate of 1.25 times the hourly rate. Alright, if he works 6.5 hours overtime in a certain week, his wage for that week is, okay, so check it. He earns $160, for 40 hours of work, which means he earns $4 per hour regularly. Therefore, his overtime rate is equal to $4 per hour by 1.25. Right? So that you could change it to 5 over 4, for long story short, you're gonna get $5 per hour for the overtime. Right? Now if he works 6.5 hours overtime, and we multiply that by the $5 per hour, so 6 by 5 is 30, and a half of 5 is 250. Right? So that's gonna give us a total of 3250 for his overtime earnings. Right? Now that's the overtime, and the irregular pay, he gets his 160. So his total pay would be 160 plus the 3250. That's 192.50. Alright, cool. Alright. Hey Quenisha, thanks for the share and the follow. And thanks for the share, Jimmy. That's 60. Alright. I see no more letters from the students. Alright. Okay. 2 questions. Is it too small? Okay, let's zoom in. Right. A television set costs $350. We saw this one yesterday. $350 cash. When bought and hire purchase, a deposit of $35 is required. The $35 is required plus 12 monthly payments of 30 each. 12 by 30 is 360. 35 plus 360 is $395. And if you paid cash 350 instead, you would simply save $45. Woo! Alright. 444, we're going on. M, thanks very much. Shaylee. At the end of any year, a car is worth 5% less than what it was worth at the beginning of the year. If a car was worth $9,500 in December, then its value in January was... Okay, so we've seen this a couple of times, so we know the answer is C. Alright? But again, if you go in the exam and they change your figures, they're not going to help you. Alright? So this is depreciation. So of course anybody who did POA would recognize this as depreciation. The loss in value of an asset over time. Alright, so check this, right? So the value... sorry, I think I'm going to get this in one second. I did the erase. I was actually on time today, so we almost asked questions. Okay, so let's start. We are question 18 now, so you can start if you want, or you can start on from the back and go back, whatever you want to do. Alright, so the value at start minus 5% of the value at start is equal to the value at end. Right? Okay, so sorry. Now check this, right? A couple of things we could do one time. We could automatically eliminate option A because option A is less than the value at n, and the value at start is always more than the value at n. So you can knock out one time. Right? The other two suspicious ones are these two items here. Right? This one seems to be the easiest one to check. So you can check that one if you want. So you could okay, let's check 10,000. Now 5% of 10,000. Knock off 2 zeros, knock off 2, so you're going to get 500. And 10,000 minus 500 is 9,500, right? Now, that's one way you can do it, right? The other way to do it that we did in the previous previous papers that we did, let me just give me one second, let me erase this down, right? Right. Is we said, okay, the value at start is 100%. If you minus 5%, you will get 95%, right? So what that means is that $9,500 is equal to 95%, right? So 95% by the value at start is equal to 9,500. So now what we would do to solve using generic transposition is you would divide by 95%. When we divide by fractions, the protocol, ladies and gents, we change divide to multiply and invert the divisor. Right? Sorry, can you write on the multiple just because? Yes, you can. Yeah. So 95 into 95 was 1, so it's 100 by 100, which is 10,000. So either way you swing it, you're going to get 10,000 as the answer. Alright. 2,000 likes, boy, thanks guys. And 17 followers, I appreciate it. Right, sorry. I'll leave the work in there in case anybody is copying it down. Right. Next question. A loan of 15,000 was repaid in 24 monthly installments of 750. The total interest paid as a percent of the principal. Okay, we have some layers in this question here, right? You borrowed 15,000 and you repaid it in 24 installments of 750. Right? Now, 750 and 25 are kind of big numbers to multiply. But what you can acknowledge is that 750 is 3/4 of 1,000. Alright? So the trick you could use here, right, just like multiplying by 75 is 3/4 of 100. Are you seeing it? Alright. So what we can do is we can multiply by 1,000 and then multiply that by 3/4, right? So you can break up 750 into 3/4 of 1,000, right? So 750 is 3/4 of 1,000. Right, and you can put the 3/4 first. Actually, if you prefer that, that might make it a little easier. Sorry, give me one sec. Let me just rewrite it. Yeah, multiplied by 3/4 of 1,000. Right. Now, don't go and cancel the 3/4 and the 1,000 to get back 750. That's gonna help, right? Cancel the 4 into the 24 to get 6. 6 by 3 is 18. 18 by 1,000 is how much? 18,000. Right. Now, We borrowed how much? 15,000. So if you borrow 15,000 and you pay back 18, the excess or surplus or extra of 3,000, that is your interest. And they want the interest paid as a percentage of the principal. So they want the interest paid as a percentage of the principal. So the 3 zeros will cancel, 3 into 15 goes 5 times, and 5 into 100 goes 20. So the answer is 20%. Right. Yeah, so some of these multiple choice questions, these two, for instance, 18 and 19, to me have a few extra layers that to me shouldn't exist in a multiple choice question. Right? All that stuff is nice working to get marks for. Alright, okay, sorry, let me just answer my assistant Mishka here. Okay, no worries. One sec. Oh, okay. Alright, sorry. Could I redo 19? Lumic. Alright, check this out. Right. Okay, so a loan of 15,000 was repaid in 24 equal monthly installments of 750. So, first of all, what I did was I multiplied 24 by 750, but I used a trick to make the multiplication easier. Right? So I'm not saying multiplying by 750 is like super hard, but I acknowledge that 750 is 3/4 of 1,000. So instead of like hard coding, that's not the right word, but instead of like trying to do it the long way by multiplying 24 by 750, I took a shortcut. I multiplied 24 by 3/4 of 1,000. Right? And then I use the three. Why can I not erase this thing? Okay, fine. My word. Right. So when I multiply the 24 by the 3/4 of 1,000, I come on man, Philip E yourself. You fill it in too much now. Right. I multiply the right. The 3/4, right, to scale down the 24. Right? So 3/4 of 24 is 18. 18 by 1,000 is 18,000. Right? Then I compared it to what I borrowed, which was 15,000, and saw that I had 3,000 extra. That is clearly the interest, right? And they want the interest as a percentage of the principal. The principal being the 15,000. So I put the 3,000 over the 15 and multiplied by 100. So 3,000 over 15 was 1/5. 1/5 by 100 is 20. All right. So who you backing for Champions League final, Inter or PSG? Jojo, to be honest, boy, I don't really follow football, but I'm gonna ask my resident football expert here. We back in.
Inter Milan.
Alright, so he's saying Inter Milan, and I think my wife's uncle saying PSG, so 50-50. Alright, so you okay now? Alright, cool. Right, at a sale, right, a discount of $3 was off the original price offered for each book. Daniel paid $46 for 2 books that had the same sale price. What was the original cost of one of the books? Right. He paid $46 for 2 books that had the same sale price. So they each cost $23 on sale, and they had a discount of 3. So if we add back the 3, we get the original price of one of the books. So that's 26. Alright, cool. Alright. Okay, so Jojo Angel saying PSG. Alright, interesting. Alright, yeah.
Inter Milan defense too strong for PSG.
Yeah, Jojo saying Milan gonna win. Alright, cool. Alright, Jaden and Nyla, are you guys good with this page? Just give me a Gina, please and thanks. Alright, if you need me to re-explain any, many, or all, let me know. Alright, cool. Alright, I know you're jumping in. Do you have any questions or anything? No? Alright, cool. Alright, okay, so the print on this page isn't super great, so I might have to write over a couple lines. Second question? Alright, no problem. Alright, so we have 3x squared multiplied by 2x cubed. Right, so as we know, when you're multiplying, it's the commutative law applies, right? It's commutative, so it doesn't matter the order which you multiply. So you can do 3 by 2 first, and then you can put together the algebra, x squared by x cubed. And of course, with laws of indices, when you're multiplying and you have the same base, what do we do with the powers? We add them. Sorry. So we're going to have 6 by x to the power 5, which happens to be option A. Alright. Yeah, Lee, no problem. It happens. Happens to me too sometimes. Alright, cool. So this one, so this one is 5 by y minus 2, sorry, is equal to 3 by y plus 4. This is interesting, boy. Okay. Now, one thing you can do is you can try all the numbers one at a time and guess. Alright, so that probably is not a good idea. Alright, so if you want to look at algebraically, so if you expand 5 by y minus, you get 5y minus 10. 3 by y plus 4 give us 3y plus 12. So what we'll do, we'll bring all the algebra to one side and all the integers to the next side. So of course we'll subtract 3y from both sides, and then we will add 10, or you could minus 10, which means you're going to end up adding 10 anyway. 5y minus 3y is 2y, 12 plus 10 is actually 22. And to solve for y, we divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. Yeah, there you go. Alright. Okay. Is it? Alright, cool. Yeah, the other way, I mean, you could actually try to get, not guessing, but trial and error. The 3 would not work. I wouldn't even bother with the minus at the outset. I'll leave that for last, right? So if you put 3 into this one, 3 minus 2 is 1, right? And 5 by 1 is just 5. And we know that can't work because you can't multiply 3 by anything and get 5, any integers, right? So that's out. Right? 7 minus 2 is 5, 5 by 5 is 25. But we also know that 3 can't be multiplied by anything to get 25. So 11 minus 2 is 9, 5 by 9 is 45. 11 plus 4 is 15, and 3 by 15 is 45. Right? Yeah. So again, if you're not what's the word going? If you're not sure about the algebraic working, you could always try it out. Try out each item. Yeah, D is correct. That's very good. Cool. Okay, scrolling down now. 23. 7 times the product of two numbers. So 7 times the product of two numbers, A and B. So product means that we are going to multiply. So 7 by A by B is simply 7AB. Hey, this, oh, they're changing numbers on us, boy. So 3 star 6 is 3, and 2 star 4 is 0. Woo. A star B may be defined as. Alright. Okay, so check this, right? Sometimes, sorry. Alright, cool. Yeah, sometimes you might really want to just, this is the A term and that's the B term in each one of them, right? So sometimes you may need to kind of go to the answers and try them one by one. Let's try A. So if we square 3, that's what? 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. If we square 2, we get 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Hey, well look, here's the answer. Look at that. Yeah, because trying to work out that kind of pattern relationship mentally or otherwise is a little weird. Even if you have those two things, you have to kind of play around with it. Alright? Again, not something that I think is suitable per se for multiple choice, at least not that particular one, you know. But the other one that you normally have here, I'm a fan of that. Okay, 25. If x equals to minus 2, y equals to 3, and t equals to 3, x over y to the power t. Okay, so x is minus 2, y is 3, and then t is also 3. So when you're cubing something or raising it to the power 3, which one is that, Nels? Number 24? Alright. Okay. Alright, let me just finish 25 first now, and I'll pop back to 24, alright guys? Yeah, no problems, no problems. Right, okay. Okay, right, so when you are cubing something, you're multiplying 3 instances of that something, right? Okay, so here now, when you're multiplying fractions, you're going to multiply the numerators together, and of course you're also going to multiply the denominators together. So minus 2 by minus 2 is positive 4, but positive 4 by minus 2 is minus 8. 3 by 3 is 9. 9 by 3 into it is 27. So you have minus 8 over 27. Alright. Okay, let's just jump back to 24. Right, so what I was saying is that this is a binary operations question, right? And they're asking me, well, what is the operation connecting A and B? Right? What do we do to 3 and 6 to get 3 as the answer? What do we do to 2 and 4 to get 0 as the answer? Right? So again, either you play around with these things here to figure out what the relationship is, but you have two of them, right? So what I would say again, you might just have to actually use the answers, trial and error. Long story short, trial and error, right? So again, yeah. So 3 is the A term and 6 is the B term. So if we use it A squared minus B, we do 3 squared minus 6. Now 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 6 is equal to 3, right? And for 2 star 4, 2 is the A term, so 2 squared minus 4. 2 squared itself is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So because this relationship gives us both of the answers, right, using both items, then that's why that's the answer, alright? Okay. 26. If 1 over 3 to the power 2x is 9, the value of x is, okay. So here we have some interesting laws of indices to apply. So 1 over 3 to the 2x is equal to 9. Now we know 9 is equal to 3 to the power 2, right? And there's also another law of indices that we can apply here. 1 over a is a to the power minus 1. So 3 to the power 2x, right? You could raise that to the power minus 1. And then the other rule that you can apply here is if you have a raised to the power b further raised to the power c, basically you're going to multiply the index on the outside by the index on the inside. So you'll have 3 to the power minus 2x. And this is where it gets interesting. If 3 to that power is equal to 3 to that power, it means if the bases are the same, we can do what we call equating the indices. In other words, just put the indices equal to each other. And if minus 2 multiplied by x is 2, to solve for x, you'd have to divide by minus 2 on both sides of the equation. And of course, 2 divided by minus 2 is minus 1. Yeah? Alright. Yeah, no problem. Nels. Alright, 27. If a is that, and 3, okay, so this is scalar multiplication. So you're multiplying 3 by each and every element in the matrix. So you're going to get a 3, a 9, a minus 9, a 9, a 0, and a 15, which is option A. Lumic, which one? 26? Yeah, 27 is 8. 26, alright, just now, let me just round up this period. I'll jump back to 26 right away. The determinant of the 2 by 2 identity matrix. Okay, so the identity matrix, the 2 by 2 version is 1, 0, 0, 1. The determinant is when you multiply the elements on the lead diagonal, so 1 then by 1, and you minus the product of the elements on the other diagonal. But 1 by 1 is 1, 0 by 0 is 0, 1 minus 0, which is 1. So the answer here is 1. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Oh, China. Big dance boy. Okay. Back here. Okay, so let's just do it one more time in case anybody. Oh no, okay, I did the wrong thing there. Okay, so alright, Lumix, see if you can follow me here, right? So the first thing I did is I simply wrote over the question, right? So that first line, that's line 1, right? That's line 1. Right? Then I said, okay, look, using this one, I want to use this law of indices. So 1 over a can be expressed as a to the minus 1. So 1 over 3 to the power 2x can be expressed as 3 to the power 2x to the power minus 1. And then 9 is just simply 2 squared. 3 squared, sorry, 3 squared, 3 squared. Now, the other law I'm using, so if I have a to the power b, and that's further raised to the power c, I'm simply multiplying the two indices here. Right? So same thing, I'm going to multiply 2x by minus 1, and I'm going to get minus 2x. Now here, I have that 3 raised raised to a power is equal to 3 raised to a power. And logically, it means therefore that the powers have to be equal to each other. Right? So that was line 2, that was line 3, that was line 4. Right? So if the powers are equal to each other, minus 2x equal to 2, right? I can divide by minus 2 on both sides of the equation, and then I have my answer, which is x is minus 1, right? So it'll make a whole bit. Zap zap, go vibes, you good? Yeah, Alex, thanks for the share. Alright, okay. Jazir, are you okay with the item on this page?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, Jaden and Nyla, if you guys are good with this page, right? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Jaden and Nyla, if you guys are good with this page, give me a quick G. If you need me to re-explain any, many, or all, give me a R and give me the numbers, right? Okay, cool, lovely. Right. 22? Okay, maybe it was the print, I don't know. But sometimes you don't see it properly if you're not printed properly. Hey, the vectors, boy. You see this one a few times, right? Item 29 refers to the following vectors, P and Q. P is 3, 7, Q is minus 2, 5. The vector P minus Q is represented by, right? So, I'm sorry, let me go back to my thing. Yeah. So we have 3, 7, minus 2, 5. So of course we're going to subtract the corresponding aspects, right? So the horizontal is going to minus the horizontal, vertical minus the vertical, right? As we know, when you minus a minus, it becomes a plus, and 3 plus 2 is 5, and 7 minus 5 is 2. So we have 5, 2, which is option C. Alright. Yeah, Juju, very good. Nels, very good, lovely. Okay, let's go. Oh, hey, we saw this one before. So this one is a little more involved, right? Item 30 refers to the following parallelogram, W, X, Y, Z. In the parallelogram, XY is the vector to go from X to Y. Remember, a vector is simply directions as to how to get from one point to the next. And the directions come in that same form of horizontal versus vertical, right? So, to get from X to Y, so the vector to go from X to Y is simply given a small u. So basically, they're kind of shorthanding it, right? And then X to W is given as vector V. Alright, now with a parallelogram, right, we have some interesting things happening. The opposite sides, for example, XY and WZ, are equal in length and parallel, which means that there's a vector, the vector to go from W to Z will be the same as XY. Alright, so WZ, sorry, not there, right. Right, so WZ will be equal to the same vector X, because those are opposite sides of a parallelogram. Right? That's correct. Right. And then same thing, XW and YZ are opposite sides of a parallelogram, so they are mutually parallel and equal in length, which means the vector to go this way is also Z. Sorry, what's talking about V? Is V, right? Yeah. Right, and then they said that R is in midpoint. So R is in midpoint. Right, so hold on. So let me just put that this whole vector here is V. Now R is in midpoint, right? And a midpoint means that line YZ is cut into two equal halves. Right? So first things first, let me just put that YZ, right, is equal to XW. So this one is U and this one is V. Okay. And like I was saying, YR and RZ, so YR is equal to RZ. And if we actually add those two together, YR plus RZ, we just get YZ. Alright. Randomly. I think it is, yes, that's correct. Good job. Okay. Right, so what do they want us? RW, so they want us to go from R to W. Alright, so they want to go from this point here to that point here. Right, now if we had that line, right, so they want that vector. Right, but if we had that line, we just say, well, that's the vector, but we don't have that vector. So what we have to do is actually go from, hold on, here. We have to go from R to Z first, and then from Z to W. Right? So we'll write that. So to go from R to W, we have to go from R to Z first, and then from Z to W, right? Now RZ is a half of the longer line YZ, right? So RZ is traveling one half along YZ, sorry. And then you have ZW. Now ZW is traveling backwards along. So look at the direction here. That's going to the right. That's going from W to Z. But we want to go from Z to W, which goes in the opposite direction. So what that means is that we have to invert the vector WZ. Right? So ZW is the inverse of WZ. Alright, cool, thanks. Alright, so YZ was just given a small v. So we have a half a small v. And then WZ is u. So we have minus u. Yeah. Again, I find this is plenty working for a multiple choice question, but that might just be me. The real me, yeah, 2024 me. Right? We have no class tomorrow, guys, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have 6:30 to 8:30. So we're going to be doing from the Jan 2022 all the way up to Jan 2025. Once a half, I think half. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The exam is Friday, right?
Friday.
Maths is Friday, yeah, the 6th.
Sure, English Friday.
So English is Thursday.
Oh.
Check it down, Dibble. Make sure. Alright. Alright, guys, so we halfway to the paper there. Alright, so good. Good. Good job. Any questions? You're studying it hard.
Nah, that's what you know.
Oh, annotations. Yeah, no problem. Oh. Alright, English is Thursday and Maths is Friday. Yeah, thank you. Right. Alright, lovely. Okay, alright. So that's the half of the paper. We started about 10 past. So that's 45 minutes. So yeah, okay, that's a good time. That's about the time we're supposed to take. Alright. Okay, we've seen this one in almost every paper we've done so far. So given that 1 millimeter is equal to 1,000 meters, then 2,500 millimeters okay, so basically you have 2,500 times this to get to that. So you're gonna have to 2,500 times that. 2,500 multiplied by 1/1,000. And again, you can always change that to divide by 1,000. Right? Because when you multiply the fractions, you're gonna end up with 2,500 over 1,000, which is the same as 2,500 divided by 1,000. Also, yep. Alright, I'm gonna divide it by 1,000. You're gonna shift that decimal point 3 spaces to the left, and that's gonna give us 2.5. Right, the length of the edge of a cube that has volume. Okay, so volume is equal to side cube, or side by side by side. So the volume is 27. So to find S, we have to find the cube root on both sides, right? So yeah, the cube root of 27 is equal to the cube root of S cubed. So on the right hand side, it's going to get S, right? Now, if you're not sure how to find the cube root offhand, you could just take the number and multiply it 3 times, right? And if you get 27, well, yeah, that's the cube root. Alright, so 32 is 8, right? Okay. 33, perimeter of a square is 48 centimeters. What is its area? Right, we saw this one a few times as well. So, a square is an equilateral and equiangular quadrilateral, right? All right angles, all lengths are the same. Okay, now let's just call it S for side. The perimeter is the total distance around. So side plus side, so if you add up 4s, then it's going to get 4s, right? So if 48 is equal to 4s, right? If we divide by 4, we're going to find the length of each side, which is 12. And then the area of a square is simply side squared or side by side, and 12 squared is simply 144. Hey summer, morning, how are you doing? Look at our favorite friend, the trapezium way. Right, so the following diagram is a trapezium, PQRS, which has an area of 65 square centimeters, right? They want the height. Now, with a trapezium, the formula for the area is the sum of the parallel sides, which are the yellow sides, so we'll just label them A and B for the sake of simplicity, right? So A here, B here, right? So the area of a trapezium is 1/2 of the sum of the mutually parallel sides multiplied by the perpendicular distance, or h, height between them. Alright, so the area is 65. Then we have 1/2 of 8 plus 18. Now 8 and 18 is 26. 1/2 of 26 is 13. So you have 13, right? And of course to solve for h now you have to divide by 13 on both sides. Right? And that gives us 5. Alright. Okay, Zuri, are you okay with this page? Alright, Jaden and Nyla, usual thing, if you guys are good with this page, give me a quick G in the chat. I'm going to re-explain it in a minute. Okay, moving along. Okay, alright, we've seen 35 as well. No, they're asking for the arc length. Okay, item 35 refers to the following diagram, which shows a sector of a circle, AOB. Angle AOB is 60 degrees, and the radius is r. The length of the arc, so the length of the arc, right, that is a piece or a fraction of the full circumference. And that piece or fraction is given by the angle in the sector. What was the total number of degrees in a circle? 360. So what we will do is we will take 60 degrees, the angle in the sector, and express it as a fraction of the total degrees in the circle. And we're going to multiply that by the circumference, which should be 2 pi r. So 60 will cancel with 36, so it's 36, yeah? So that's 1/6. And then 2 will cancel with 6 3 times. So you can end up with 1/3 pi r. Not r squared, because it didn't ask for area, it asked for the arc length. So that's option A. Alright. Well, most of these questions will be repeated. Yeah, all of them tend to be. Right? As you can see here, sometimes there are little variations in what they ask for, but most times the questions repeat. Right? But yeah, you have to be prepared for whatever comes. Right? Like we saw 36 as well before. So item 36 refers to the following diagram, which shows a compound shape made up of a rectangle and 2 identical semicircles, one on either of the short sides. Alright? Now if you have 2 semicircles, you have a whole circle. Right? Semi is a half, 2 halves is a whole. Alright? Oh, hey, cool, thanks very much. Jamie Lee, Andy. Oh, sorry, I know I've seen you guys send some gifts. Thanks very much, guys. I appreciate it. Alright. Okay, yeah. Now the area of the compound shape. So the area will be the area of the circle plus the area of the rectangle. Now check this, right? From here to here will be the radius, and from here to here will also be the radius. Right? As the radius here and the radius here. And we notice that from here to here is 15, and from the outside to the other outside, right, is 27. So the difference there, 27 minus 15 is 12. Right? So r plus r, so 2r is equal to 12, which means that r is simply equal to 6, 12 divided by 2. So now we can find our area, right? So the area of the, hold on, yeah. So the area, right, okay, so the area of the rectangle is length by width, right? Now, this is one dimension, and that is the diameter, which is the 12, right? So, in the case of the rectangle, the area will be 15 across by 12 up. 15 by 12 is 180. Alright. It's Dejeuner. Hey Dejeuner, how you doing? Morning. Right. And then for the circle, that's pi by r squared. So pi by 6 squared is 36 pi. So the total area of the compound shape is, well, I think they put the 180 first. Yeah, so 180 plus 36 pi. And you could actually pull out 36 as a common factor and get 5 plus pi inside. Again, if you don't know that 36 is a factor of 180, you're going to have to keep factorizing until they get there. Until they can't factorize anymore. You can start with 2, you can start with 12, you can start with... Yeah, 12 is a good one. You'll get what, 15 and 3, and then yeah, you pull out the 3 again, you get 2. Yeah, I think the previous one asked for the perimeter. Yeah, okay. And I think option A was that either option A or C. I think C was that particular answer. So see why I read carefully. Alright? Okay. Let's go back to the The area of a rectangle is 40 square centimeters. If the length is multiplied by 4 and the width is halved, then the area would be, okay, cool. Area is equal to length multiplied by width. And we know that this is equal to 40. They told us that. Now the length is then multiplied by 4. What's L by 4? 4L. And the width is half. The half of W will simply be W over 2. Right? Now the new area, right, if you have to multiply these two things down here. So 2 will cancel with 4. Oh, hold on, let's put it long, right? So you'll have 4LW over 2. And now the 2 will cancel with the 4, giving us 2LW. And we know from above here that L by W, which is LW, is equal to 40. So all we have to do to find the new area is multiply 2 by 40, and we'll get 80. Alright. And this one, item 38, refers to the following diagram, which shows a compound shape that comprises a triangle resting on a square of side 5 centimeters. Okay, so they give us a side is then 5 centimeters. Okay. If the total area of the compound shape is 35 square centimeters, then the height of the triangle is, okay, so the total area of the compound shape will be the area of the triangle plus the area square. Now it's a square, right? So we know that all of the sides are the same length, including the base of the triangle on top there, right? So of course the area down here is 5 by 5, which is 25 square centimeters. Now the total area is 35. It means that the area on top here of the triangle must be 10, right? 25 plus 10 is 35. The area here is the base, which is, the base is 5 by height all over 2, and that is equal to 10, right? So you can first of all multiply by 2 on both sides. So 5 by h is 5h, and that's equal to 20. And to solve for the height now, we'll simply divide by 5 on both sides and get 4. Okay. Alright. Jaziri, are you okay with this page? Alright. Alright, Naila and Jada, give me a quick G in the chat if you're good with that, please and thanks. Give me to rework, give me a R. Let the I know what I want. Alright, cool. Alright guys, we're approaching the 2/3 mark. Okay, cool. Alright, so items please do back the triangle part. Okay. Alright, so like I was saying, just very quickly, right? The area of the square is side by side. 5 by 5 is 25. Sorry. And they also told us that the total area is 35. Right? So if I take 35 and minus 25, I'll get 10. And that has to be the area of the triangle. Right? So area of a triangle is base by height over 2. So the base here is one of the lengths of the square, which is 5. So base by height is 5 by h over 2, and then that's equal to 10. The first thing we do here is multiply by 2 to get rid of the denominator. So on the left hand side you have 5 by h, which is just 5h, and the right hand side 10 by 2 is 20. And now to solve for h, you simply divide by 5 on both sides, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. Alright, I hope that helps. Cool. Alright, okay, so items 39 and 40 refer to the following frequency distribution, which shows the average mass in kilograms of a group of children in a school. Okay, so we have these things on top of here called the class intervals. The number at the start is the lower class limit, the number at the end is the upper class limit. The frequency tells us how many of the school children fall into that particular interval. Now it says here the number of children who have a mass of at least 41 kilograms. So at least 41 means 41 or greater. So for this we'd have to add up the 12, 38 and the 20. Alright, so that's 12 plus 30, which is 50, and 50 plus 20 is actually 70. Right? Now it says that the lower limit of the modal class. So the modal class is the class with the highest frequency, which is this here. 38 is the biggest number, and the lower class limit, or the lower limit, is the 51. Right, cool. Ms. Clark arranged 15 test scores of her students in order of size, and selected the 8th score for reporting purposes. Which of the following statistical measures Ms. Clark obtained as the median? The median is the data point which cuts the data set into two equal halves. If you have 15 data points, the 8th data point will have 7 data points below it and 7 data points after it. So 8 is the median. Okay, next. 42. The pie chart below drawn to scale. So if it's drawn to scale, that means you could actually take a protractor and measure some stuff here, right? I don't know if anybody walks with a geometry set to the multiple choice, so I don't know how useful the diagram being drawn to scale actually is. But anyhow, let's assume it's not. Shows how a student used 12 hours in studying English, math, French, geography. Okay. The total amount of time spent studying math is approximately, so math is approximately a 90-degree angle here. So 90 degrees out of a total of 360 multiplied by 12 hours. So 90 out of 360 is a quarter. And a quarter of 12 is 3. And they said approximate because the angle actually is a little less than 90. Alright, Zero, you okay with this page? Alright, Jaden and Isla, usual thing. Give me a quick G if you're good with that. Give me an R if you tell you look anything. Very good, Juju. Okay, cool. Now let's go. If the mean of four numbers, 4, 8, x, and 12 is 10, then x, okay, so the mean is the average, right? So 4 plus 8 plus x plus 12, and to find the mean, we add them up and divide by the number of them. So it's not this 4 we're dividing by, there are 4 numbers. And the average is 10. So first things first, we can multiply by 4 on both sides, right, to get rid of the denominator. Doing so will get rid of the denominator on the left and give us 14, right? Now 4 and 8 is 12, 12 and 12 is 24. So we have x plus 24. And to solve for x, we clearly have to subtract 24 from both sides of the equation, and that will give us the value of x being 16. Alright, lovely. Item 44 refers to the following table, which shows the responses of 100 persons from two ethnic groups, P and R, to a survey about their attitudes towards mathematics. So, let's take a look and see what's going on here. So, attitude, positive, neutral, negative. Right? So, ethnicity P. So, positive, neutral, negative. So, 60 people in ethnicity P, and positive, neutral, negative, 40 people in ethnicity R. Sorry, the erase on this back of this pen clearly has given up. Right. And positive, you have 37 positives, 20 neutrals, and 43 negatives. Okay. So a respondent is selected at random. So right, see that first sentence there? It means it picks somebody at random. So somebody out of 100 people. What is the probability that the selected respondent is of ethnicity P and has a positive attitude? Ethnicity P and a positive attitude. So that's 25 out of 100, which is simply 0.25. Alright. 45. Which of the following best illustrates? Okay, so a function is either a 1-to-1 relation or a many-to-one relation, right? Or That looks like option B to me, right? Because option A, so this item here is connected to 2 as a one-to-many. This is connected to all, that's also a one-to-many. And this is also connected to 2, that's a one-to-many. So B is the only one where each element in the domain is mapped onto one and only one element in the range. So that's option B. Alright, so we're 3/4 of the way through the paper. We're actually almost done. Alright. Alright, Jaden, Nyla, just give me a quick G if you look at this page. Please and thanks. Desiree, how about you? This page is alright? Alright, cool. Yeah, I know I just asked, but the page only had 3 questions, right? So, okay. So items 46 and 47 refer to the following graph of a straight line AB. Okay. The point where the straight line AB crosses the horizontal axis is, well, that's here, right? So that the x coordinate is 3, y coordinate is 0. So that's A. And the equation of the straight line AB is, well, that's interesting. They want us to find the equation of the line. Alright, no problem. So we know that the equation of a straight line can be written in form y equal to m by x plus c, where m is the what? The gradient, and c is the y-intercept. Sorry, one sec. Oh, okay. Now we have the y-intercept here of -2. Let's just check and see if any one of the options given to us has -2. They all do, so we have no choice but to find the gradient, right? So we have 2 points. We only need 2 points to find a gradient, right? The first point is the x-intercept 3, 0, and the second point is the y-intercept 0, -2. The formula for the gradient is the difference or the change in the y-coordinates, y2 minus y1, sorry, that line was supposed to, right? Divided by x2 minus x1. So -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 3 will simply give us -2 over -3, which gives us back positive 2/3. So the answer is y is equal to positive 2/3 x, then -2, and that is actually option C. Okay. Not bad. The screen just got a bit brighter, not sure why. Anyhow, that's fine by me. Items 48 and 49 refer to the following a graph of a quadratic function. The coordinates of the maximum point of the function are, the maximum point is here. Read down to the x-axis you get 2, read across to the y you get 4. So 2, 4, so that is option A. And then the equation of the axis of symmetry, right, so the axis of symmetry is that line which actually cuts the graph in half, right? So it's basically a line passing through the maximum point, and that line is a perfectly vertical line, and the equation of it is x equal to whatever the value is down here, which is 2, and there you have it. That is the equation of the axis of symmetry. X is equal to 2. Right, lovely. Okay, is you okay with that page? All right, Nyla, Jaden, I know I just asked, but again, we're moving kind of briskly here, so. Alright, thank you. Okay, cool, lovely. Alright, I see in G, or G, is it GL? And Nels, Lee, right, China, Kenya. Or Cry, why Cry? I missed something. And Jojo Angel, right, lovely, good job everybody. Alright guys, we're approaching, sorry. Oh, they changed up number 50 on us, boy. So number 15, they want g of -6. Here they want g inverse of -2. I'll show you a little hack here. Well, not a hack, guys, but it's something you're supposed to know. So you don't have to go and find the inverse function. Just put the function equal to -2 and solve for x. The first thing we do is multiply by 5 on both sides. -2 by 5, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, is just -10. Then we add 3. So when you add 3 on the left hand side, you're left with 7x. -10 plus 3 is -7. And then to solve for x now, you simply divide by 7 on both sides of the equation. So you have -7 divided by 7. So x is equal to -1. Alright? right? And if you plug minus 1 back up into the function, plug it up right here, you're supposed to get minus 2. So 7 by minus 1 is minus 7, minus 7 minus 3 is minus 10, and minus 10 divided by 5 is minus 2. Right? Hey Kenya, 2024 May. Oh, thank you, Simply Bree. Hold on, Mario was asking about 49. China's asking about 46. Okay, let me go back and check. So 49 and 46, right? Right. So 46. So no. So China, on the vertical axis, right? For the y-intercept, yes, your x-coordinate is always going to be 0, because no matter how high up or how low down you go on the y-axis, the x-coordinate is always going to be 0. On the x-axis, however, the x-coordinate is not necessarily 0, but the y-coordinate will always be 0, no matter how far to the left or right on the axis you go. Alright? And then 49, right, the equation of the axis of symmetry. Right, okay, so check it. The axis of symmetry is that line which kind of cuts the curve, the quadratic curve, in half. And that line always passes through the max or minimum point. In this case, the max. Oops, sorry. A little too thick. Too thick. Right. Right? And that line passes through x equal to 2. And that is the equation of the line. Because at any point on the line, x is equal to 2. Alright? So, hope that helps. Okay. Back in. Did I? No? Right. Alright, okay guys, in the last 10, a parking lot charges $1 plus 25 cents for every hour or part thereof in which a vehicle is parked. Okay, cool. A function CH, the cost of the parking is, okay, that represents the parking cost. Okay, so C is the cost. Alright, so it's $1 plus 25 cents per hour. And that's option C. There you go. Well, thanks for the share, Shani. Appreciate it. Right. Okay, the range of f of x to x cubed, right? Okay, so when you cube something, what do we actually do? Multiplying 3 instances of that item together, right? So minus 2 by minus 2 by minus 2. So a minus by minus is a plus, but then that's plus 4, and then plus 4 by minus 2 will bring us back to minus 8. Right? Minus 1 cubed, so that's minus 1 by minus 1 by minus 1. So a minus by minus is a plus, but then positive 1 by negative 1 brings us back to minus 1. 0 to any power is just 0, 1 to any power is just 1. 2 cubed is 2 by 2 by 2. 2 by 2 is 4, and 4 by 2 is 8. So option D, it looks like there, right? Alright. Chicken curry chicken. I like that. That's a bad one. Yes. Alright. If the sum of the interior angles of a polygon is 4 right angles and the polygon is a quadrilateral. Alright, so we know a square and a rectangle both have 4 right angles. Any quadrilateral you do, any four-sided shape, the sum of the interior angles is always going to be 360, which is the sum of 4 right angles, right? Okay, 54. Item 54 refers to the following diagram of a right-angled triangle. Okay, in the right-angled triangle above which trigonometric ratio is equal to 4/8. Okay, so relative to x, this side is opposite. This side is opposite the right angle, which is the hypotenuse. And opposite over hypotenuse is sine. So sine x. This could also be cos y. Right, but sine x is the answer here. Okay. Sine x, yeah, China. Alright, in the value, item 55 refers to the following diagram of an isosceles triangle. Okay, in the triangle, the value of x is, okay, so, I mean, some of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. If we have the two base angles there of 30 degrees, 30 and 30 is 60. 180 minus 60 is 120 degrees. Alright guys, so in the last 5 now. Alright. Is you good with this page? Think this is good. Alright, Jaden and Isla, that's all good? You know, a quick Genie chat please and thanks. Alright. Okay, now each of the next pages only has 2 questions, the last page has 1. So I'll just do all 5 questions and then ask if you're good. If you need to ask a question, ask it, there's no problem. So item 56 refers to the following pair of similar triangles. So we have the big one ABC, small one MON. The length MO, okay. So the length MO, right, corresponds to the length AC. The lengths AB and MN also correspond, right? So if we took the ratio of MN over AB, we get 3 over 6, which is equal to a half. And that there is what we call the scale factor. Right? So any length in the smaller triangle will be half of the length half of the length in the corresponding length in the bigger triangle. Wow. Right. So what we're also saying is, therefore, if you do OM or MO to AC, is also supposed to be a half. Right? So to find OM is just a half of AC, and a half of 7 is just 3.5. Yeah? Item 57 refers to the following diagram and shows a transformation. Well, this just looks like a translation to me. In the diagram above, the translation by which AB is mapped onto A prime, B prime. Okay, let's look at the horizontal shifts. To go from 2 to 4, you have to add 2. To go from 5 to 6, you have to add 1. Let's cross check. To go from 5 to 7, you have to add 2. To go from 7 to 8, you have to add 1. So yeah, 2, 1, which is just option A. Alright, so that's 56 and 57. Oh, hey. How you doing? How you doing? CPU, what's going on? Alright, item 58 refers to the following diagram which shows a transformation. Okay, so this is clearly an enlargement. We're enlarging ABC to A prime, B prime, C prime. If you read the paragraph there, it says that it's an enlargement with center. Oh, what is the scale factor? Okay, so what we do, once again, is we're going to compare the corresponding sides, lengths, right? So if you look at AC only had 2, and A prime, C prime had 4, right? So if you take A prime, C prime, and compare it to AC, you get 4 over 2, which will give us a scale factor of 2. So everybody's copyrighting this. And let's just double check. BC to B prime, C prime. So B prime, C prime to BC. So that's 2 units to 1, which is 2. So the scale factor is 2. That's option B. Yes, CPU, I managed to start on time today. I started at about 10:05. Okay, item 59 refers to the following diagram. CPU, don't worry, it'll be up on YouTube right after. So you can always go there and check it out. Alright, so item 59 refers to the following diagram which shows the angle of depression of a point G from E is 30 degrees. Okay, so the depression of G from E is 30 degrees. And what you need to notice is that you have a Z angle going on there. So the angle inside of here is 30 degrees. This on the top of here would be 60 because that is 90. Right? If FG is 25 meters, as the side here, right? The distance FG. So what did I say? I said it goes. Oh, sorry. FE is 25, and they want FG. Okay, so FG is this length down here. Right now, relative to the right angle, this side is opposite, which makes it the hypotenuse. Now we neither have nor are looking for the hypotenuse, so sine and cosine are automatically out, so we can eliminate C and D. So it's either going to be A or B. So let's check it out, right? So we want to find the length FG. So relative to 30, this is the opposite side and this is the adjacent side. So tan of 30 is equal to opposite over adjacent. So the first thing we would do here is we multiply by fg on both sides, and then to find fg thereafter I would divide by tan 30. So it looks like A is the answer here. Yeah. If you were using 60, it'd be 25 by tan 60. Alright. Sorry, I didn't see the question. Is this add math? No. Yeah, it's regular multiple choice math. Yeah, people keep asking me to do the add math live. I just don't have any time to do it. But I have them recorded from the past years, so I could open them up. Alright, and the last question. Alright, item 60 refers to the following diagram of a building. Right, a surveyor sets up his instruments 12 meters from the foot of the building and records the angle of elevation to the top of the building. Alright, an estimate of the height of the building can be obtained by, right, so check it. We note that the 40-degree angle here, right, is 1.6 meters from ground level. So if you were to use this triangle to find the height, you only find this portion. We would then have to add 1.6 onto it. So we could automatically eliminate C and D. Alright, now this distance here is 12, the base of the triangle, right? We are looking for the opposite length, and we do not have the hypotenuse, nor are we looking for it. So if we do have the hypotenuse, we could automatically eliminate sine and cosine, which just leaves tan. So we could eliminate cosine from the running, which means that tan is the only possible one. Right, and there you have it. Right. Bill Z, morning, how you doing? Alright, okay, so Jaden and Nyla, if you guys are good with 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60, let's give them a quick G. If you need to go over any of them, let me know. 45. This question has changed. Yeah, Kenya, they switch around what they're asking for sometimes, yeah, and sometimes the figures. So you had to know. Zoom it out. Alright, cool. Like Nyla fall asleep or duck out on the level. Or 54. Or 54, okay. Let's just take a look back at 54. Right. Right. Okay, so in the above, in the right angle triangle above, which ratio is 48? Oh, sorry, 4/8. So that's, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so 4/8. Right, so relative to x, this side is opposite. This side is opposite the hypotenuse, which makes it the this side is opposite the right angle, which makes it the hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse is sine, and that's sine x. Right, 59. Yeah, so the angle on the inside is 30 degrees if you follow your z angle. Right, we're looking for the opposite length. Sorry, we have the opposite length, and we're looking for the adjacent. We don't have, and neither are we looking for the, the hypotenuse. Alright, so we're therefore using tan. So tan 30 is opposite over adjacent. And when we transpose, we get the answer being A. Right? Why is it x and not y? What's the difference? And which one? Right? Full work on the paper, Mr. Wealthy, on my YouTube channel. Same name, 54. Right, so for it to be y, right, so relative to y, this side here is opposite, and we don't have that side, which makes this side the adjacent side. So if you have adjacent and you're looking for hypotenuse using cosine, so cosine y would be adjacent over hypotenuse. Right, so it's not y, it's x. Yeah, alternate angle, that's correct. Alright, okay. Alright, yeah, so Jaden and I, that's about it, right? So again, no class tomorrow. We have class every day, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, from 6:30 to 6:30. If I can fit any extra sessions, then I'll let you all know, but I can't do a 4 to 6 any of the days because for Form 4s, have the 4 to 6 spots kind of locked down. Yeah, even the Thursday I have POA, and I can't duck them anymore. because after you all finish, you have like 2 weeks till the exam. Yeah. So yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah, man, Jaden. All right, okay. Yeah, Jaden and Nyla are going. I'll see you guys on Monday, hopefully. All right, have a good weekend. Bye. All right. Okay. Right. Can I do another one? Simply breathe. Sorry, I can't. My time just doesn't allow. Right. Today. But I have. If you go on my YouTube channel, the same name, Adaptuition. You would see the ones I worked previously. So 2021, 22, 2024. And I think there's an open playlist of like 2012 to 2019. Alright. China number 59. Yeah, 59 there. Yes, if you thanks for letting Simply Bree know. Yeah, yo. Alright, yeah man, CPU. What time? 6:30 to 8:30 during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. How about profiles distributed? Oh, your name is Tristan, okay. Boy, I don't know. Yeah, Angel, no problem. Hey Jay, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I had a student named Jade once back in 2014. She is a lawyer now with a master's, married, and with a child. So yeah. Alright, thanks for the follow everybody. Alright, yeah, so guys, that's about it for today. I would love to stay and do more, but unfortunately, like I said, I can't. Time just doesn't allow. How many profiles are there? When you say profiles, you're talking about like A, B, C, and D, that kind of stuff? Oh, you're talking about the oh, that's on the syllabus. It's knowledge and application is one for sure. I don't know the other two. I think it's three. I think it's 3 profiles. Yeah. Yes, simply Brie, I agree. You just have to do your best. That's all you can do. Alright. Alright. Yeah guys, okay, so I had a duck out there, but thanks for the company. Good to see you guys. And again, if anybody, yeah, Eliana, you're most welcome. Happy to help. If anybody wants to see any previous ones on my YouTube channel, Adaptuition, and if you could hit my subscribe, do me a favor, that would be helpful. Right? I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, but that's just a vanity metric, so it don't have to happen, right? But and 10,000 here too. So just trying to build up my profile. So reasoning and understanding. There you go. Thank you, Simply Bree. Yeah, guys. So I'm trying to see what I can do for the advanced people, but I really not sure. The most I can see myself maybe doing is a live on Monday, but I can't do that because I had to go for my son to half past 2. There's a hard class at 4. I could do that multiple choice from 1 o'clock to half 2 and then go from there. Alright, I'll see. Any advanced people, I'll see what I can do, but it's only going to be one session. But on my channel should have a playlist, an open playlist with like some of the earlier papers, you know. If it's not there, guys, DM me now. I'll see what I can do to help you guys out, alright? Yeah, just that there's a lot to do. And I try to start out making content. And hey, Jamie, thanks for the follow. Yeah, as I'm sure you all probably saw, I tried to put out like one short a day. But when I say a short, like one short video a day on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube shorts, just to kind of maintain a momentum now, you know? Alright, and guys, I will stay on top whole day, or we could be doing more papers, but yeah, that's basically for today. So we did the May papers, 2021, 22, 23, and 24. So the most recent May papers were done. So next week we can hit the January papers, 2022, 23, 24, and 25 being the last session. Kenya, Monday 6:30 to 8:30, and every day thereafter 6:30 to 8:30. Alright, Humsey, how you doing, Humsey? Morning. Alright. Okay, YouTube, I'll go on there. I'll see you guys.